Hello and welcome back to another video, and the rest of the back to another edition of AEW Dynamite Out of 10. And it's a big show today, obviously the last one before Christmas, and yeah, AEW really treated us this week. We've got a brutal title match to close the show. And yeah, obviously a continuation of the Trio's Best of 7 series. But we kicked off the show with Ricky Starks, who started by saying that it would have been better if he had the AEW World Championship, but he lost as a man. He called MJF a coward and promised to beat him the next time they face each other. Starks vowed to become the top star in the company one day. JS then came up to interrupt Starks. Jericho initially praised Starks for saying he was not ready. He then approached him to sign for the JS before the crowd started singing "Sammy Sucks." Starks obviously rejected the offer and called him jobbers. He then pointed out how Garcia hasn't done much since losing his title. Starks then challenged the Ocho to a match on January 4th Dynamite before Jake Hager attacked him behind. Other JS members joined him before who else? Action Andretti came in to make the save, and the babyfaces chased the heels away and stood together to end the segment. Yeah, this was really fun. Starks and Jericho obviously both great on the mic, which made it really good. And Action Andretti, who was another guy coming in at the end to save the day once again. Yeah, just a really entertaining start to Dynamite this week. It was then time for the Elite versus Death Triangle, a brawl ensured between all 6 men to kick things off. Death Triangle hit triple super kicks and followed up with a suicide dive to get the advantage. The champions then singled out Nick, but Matt and Kenny came in and took them out. Penta then came in and attacked Omega with a trash can. Ray Phoenix then hit multiple elbow strikes on Nick before he took Matt out with a huge clothesline at the ringside area. A tree was then set up in the middle of the ring, and Death Triangle shoved Nick Jackson into it. The latter responded with super kicks on Phoenix and Penta. Pat then tried to attack Nick by wrapping his injured ankle with a steel chair, but got hit with a trash can instead. Omega then went for a pinfall, and Pat got a 2 count before taking out Phoenix and Penta. The Cleaner then attacked Ray Phoenix with a barbed wire broom as the Young Bucks hit a double team move on Penta. After a back and forth, Omega then looked to hit the one-way angel, but Phoenix responded with a hammer strike instead. He then got a 2 count before Omega kicked out. Towards the end, all members of the Death Triangle looked to attack Omega with hammers. But the backstop and the former tag team champions then hit Meltzer Driver on Ray Phoenix to pick up the victory. Post-match, Death Triangle attacked the Elite and laid them down to make a strong statement. This gets an 8 out of 10 from me. I don't think the result was ever in doubt here, but it's just such a brilliant match. No DQ definitely added something to it. So yeah, it was just really fun match. Obviously a result, but still brilliant stuff. 8 out of 10. Bryan Danielson was then out next and started by saying that he doesn't know if the BCC will forgive William Regal for his actions. He then brought being trained by Shawn Michaels in San Antonio and added that Regal made him the man he was today. Danielson spoke about his long history with Regal and said that he loved having a legend in AEW. The American Dragon then brought to his attention MJF and said that there are consequences to all actions. Ethan Page and Stokely Hathaway came up to interrupt Danielson. And they took shots at him by calling him a vegetable man before the latter challenged Page to a match. Ethan Page then rejected the offer and said the duo will face each other next week instead, and that's of course going to be a guaranteed banger. But yeah, decent promo by Danielson as always, and yeah, really picking over the story, and yeah, definitely a very interesting story. And yeah, decent promo, looking forward to that match. And it's then time for Hook taking on a job at Exodus Prime. And yeah, he squashed him basically after hitting a lariat and applying Rev Realm for the submission win. Post-match, Halfway appeared on the Titan trying to Big Bill and Lee Moriarty attacked Jungle Boy, and obviously he went downstairs. He went out there to sort everything out, and that's basically the end of the segment. Yeah, I mean, gets 6 out of 10 from me. Good squash for Hook, put him over really to the Dynamite crowd. And then, yeah, I would like to see that go a bit further because literally we got, and then Moxie's theme music hit. But yeah, I mean, I guess it was just a very tightly crammed show, but just look after your Tommy a bit better, please, AEW. But yeah, 6 out of 10 for what it was fine, I guess. It's then time for Jon Moxley versus Darius Martin. Mox been squaring off in the middle of the ring, and Moxley kicked Martin and applied a side headlock. Martin then fought back with a dropkick behind it before the Purveyor of Violence retaliated with kicks of his own. The action then spilled to the outsiders. Moxley dropped Martin on the barricades and hit a suplex on the concrete. Martin then into the ring and down Moxley down with a suicide dive. After the back and forth between the two men, Moxley kicked Martin on a surgically repaired knee. Martin responded with a huge kick on the BCC member and got a 2 count for his troubles. He then followed up with a flatliner for another 2 count. Darius Martin went to the top, but Jon Moxley caught him in a submission move. He then hit a Death Rider to pick up the victory. And yeah, it gets 7 out of 10 from me. Really good match. Moxley getting a win obviously makes sense. But Darius Martin, also by putting up a solid fight against a wrestler obviously of Moxley's calibre, also did him no harm either. So yeah, it worked both ways here really well. So it gets 7 out of 10 from me. It was then time for FTR versus the Guns. Cash Wheeler and Colton Gunn started the match respectively for the two teams. Wheeler was on the offensive earlier on, and he took out both his opponents. Harwood then tagged in Austin and Colton. Double team in the action, then moved to the outside with the Guns dominating hard, but Wheeler took them down with a suicide dive. The heels fought back by dropping Cash Wheeler on the back ace. Towards the end of the match, Colton and Dax exchanged pinfalls. Austin Gunn helped his brother behind the rest back to pick up the pinfall victory. And Jack, that's 7 out of 10 for me. Good win for the Guns, obviously slightly tainted. But it's a very interesting one, I have to say. But FTR kind of on a bit of a losing streak now, playing into that, hopefully before they come back and win the titles at the next pay. But yeah, it's very interesting direction now, 7 out of 10 from me. And then it was time for Tony Schiavone and Rick Ross, who were inside the ring. He first introduced Keith Lee and called him a big motherfucker. That is Ross, of course, not Tony Schiavone. Ross then called out Swerve, who came out with a chorus of boos. Strickland said that Lee should be thankful for everything he got. Was because of him. As Strickland continued his promo, Lee was attacked from behind by Parker Boudreaux. Lee fought him off before being laid out by a mystery star on the entrance ramp. Boudreaux then used a sealed chair on Keith Lee before Swerve Strickland put a cinder block on his former partner's stomach. He then hit a stomp from the top rope to decimate the Limitless one. And yeah, pretty brutal stuff. But Swerve and Glory is fishy done. And yeah, Swerve's stable with Boudreaux and obviously the Masked Man. I think it's been linked to his. But yeah, definitely very interesting to see going forward. I think it's about time as well. So yeah, good move. It's then time for our main event, a women's show, women's match main eventing Dynamite, and boy oh boy, they showed what they could do. Jamie Hayter versus Shida for the belt. Shida had the early advantage before Hayter reversed it and hit a chop. After initial back and forth between two, Shida then hit a big knee strike on the apron to get control. Hayter came back with some heavy strikes and slammed her down for a 2 count. Both women and then down on the mat before Shida got up and hit dropkick on the champion. Next in the spell briefly to the outside before Hayter missed the moonsault from the top rope. Towards the end, Baker then came up on the apron with a kendo stick, but Shida took her out with the weapon. Hayter then took advantage of the strikes and hit powerbomb followed by a ripcord area to pick up the victory. Post-match, Storm attacked Shida, but Storm and Soraya came out to make the save. And Jay gets an 8 out of 10 from me. This was brilliant stuff for me, really. It just showed what they can do in the women's division. She gives them time, and hopefully Tony Khan's seen that now, and we get to see more time given to the AEW women's division, because boy oh boy, this was bloody class. Really put Hayter over. Shida didn't do her any harm in defeat either, and it's just brilliant stuff. More of this from the AEW women's division, please, at AEW. They've shown you what they can do now, and bloody hell, it was brilliant. Overall, AEW Dynamite gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Yeah, really fun episode of Dynamite this week from me. The main event was great. The trios match was bloody brilliant. Lots and lots of stuff going on in this show. Interesting developments throughout the board. Really good show. But anyway, guys, that is it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, like, comment, and fun to for daily wrestling news, and subscribe to my channel. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out. So